Hello, my friends. It's Dr. Gail here with another video to help you have ease and well-being in your lives. If you're feeling frazzled, overwhelmed, stressed out, this video is for you. And if you want more ease and calm, this video is definitely for you because the word of the week that I'm talking about in this video is calm. C-A-L-M. And even as I say that word, I feel a little more calm. And I wonder if you can feel a little more calm, just even thinking calm, a little more okayness, a little less overwhelmed, a little less stress, a little less cortisol, and perhaps a little more of those better hormones and neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, because that's what I want for you, and that's what's possible. Because our days are full of so much stress, so much to get done. In healthcare, so many people to take care of. The ever full inbox, the email that everyone is dealing with in healthcare and beyond, all the to-dos, all the people that you have to answer to, all the responsibilities in your workplace and beyond, all the dysfunction, all the things going wrong. You may be thinking to yourself, well, how can I possibly be calm with everything falling apart around me? Wouldn't that be superhuman to actually be calm amidst all of this mess and difficulty? So that's really what I want to focus on, is how you can have more calm no matter what's going on around you. Because let's face it, when you do a look back over your life, there are probably a lot of times, a lot of periods in your life and your work when there has been a lot that's going on, a lot of demands, and a lot that's going wrong. Okay? So does that leave us just at the whim of our circumstances? Just stressed out and overwhelmed and not bringing our best selves? That's really what I want to challenge you about, because when we're experiencing the lack of calm and all of that stress, we're not functioning at our best. We're not showing up at our best, right? We're irritable. We're hypervigilant. Our shoulders are up. We're on alert. We're worried. We're fearful. We're anticipating what's going to happen next, and we're feeling like it is all too much. We're fatigued. Stressed out would be putting it mildly. And it's not just in our workplaces. I think for most of us, this spills over and haunts us with the people that we love and the people who we can really impact when we show up in a more calm and easeful way. Now, coming back to the question of, well, what can you do when there's just so much busyness and so much demand? So those are the external sources of busyness and stress. But let's take a moment to think about the internal sources, right? If you're anything like me, you've got plenty going on in your mind that keeps you from being calm. All those worries, fear-based thinking. Uh-oh, what if I don't get this done? What's going to happen next? How am I going to manage, right? All of the rumination, the replaying, the rehearsing, the rehashing that goes on, at least in my mind, and I'm thinking in yours as well. And again, mind just jumping around from the past, what happened yesterday that we're replaying and thinking about and wishing was different and wishing that we had been different, and the future. What's going to happen? How am I going to manage? All of that busyness in the mind, which makes it, I would argue, very hard to cope with the external busyness that, guess what, we have less control over. But the part that we at least have some hope of having control over is the busyness inside our mind, and then how we respond to the external stresses, demands, roles, etc. And of course, this brings me back to mindfulness, which is really a pretty simple concept. It's the awareness that comes when we pay attention to what's happening right here, right now. And we do so with more compassion and less judgment than most of us typically bring to our lives. So we're paying attention, we're getting to know, but we're not just getting to know. That would just be awareness alone. We're getting to know so that we can train the mind to be our ally, rather than another source of difficulty. We're becoming the observer of what the mind is up to, because then we see that we have a choice. We see we have a choice about what we pay attention to in what our own mind is producing. And of course, we have a choice in how we respond to all of the external demands. So, I have seen the impact of this in the hundreds and hundreds of physicians and others that I've coached over the last 13 years. And I have definitely seen the impact on myself. And I think my friends and my son could attest to that difference, that ability to choose calm, to make choices that contribute to calm, to simplify things rather than making them more complex and more demanding. So I want to just describe briefly a process that you can use to bring more calm into your day. And you may be skeptical. You may be thinking, yeah, right. Okay, sure. Just put on a happy face. That's what Gail's telling me, and everything will be fine. Well, I appreciate that objection if that's one that you have, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm a pragmatist. I'm all about reality and how to manage reality. I'm not about being stuck in some fantasy world where everything is just peachy keen, because it isn't. It isn't. But what I am about as a pragmatist is work on the things that you can control. That's what I'm talking about here. So let me go into what I'll call a 3-step process for short-term calm. And then I'll talk about a longer-term process. But the short term is really to notice when you're not calm, to even just say to yourself, I'm experiencing a lot of stress. I'm experiencing a state of overwhelm. That in and of itself decreases the limbic activation, the amygdala activation that we experience when we're under stress, that fuels the fight, flight, freeze, and the hypercortisol state that we all know is not particularly healthful. So that's what I call the notice and name game. Wow, I'm experiencing a lot of stress. The second is so critical, and I talk about this in the Mindful MD book and in really many places in my writing, which is the purposeful pause. The pause where we slow things down. We hit the pause button mentally, emotionally, physically, and we simply take 3 to 5 slow, deep, cleansing breaths. Cleansing. They allow the cortisol in the system to dissipate, and they bring the parasympathetic nervous system online, the brakes on the fight, flight, freeze activated state. It's in that pause, as Viktor Frankl reminds us, that lies our freedom, that lies our choice, that lies our autonomy, because it's in that pause that we can ask ourselves, gosh, what's under my control here? And that question can be very orienting. We may not be able to control all the busyness and craziness and demands and expectations going on around us, but we can control. We can have a lot more control over our internal state. The last step is to really be kind to yourself and recognize that you're going fast, you're working hard, reminding yourself, I am good. I do my best. I cannot control all the rest. So that's the short term, is building these purposeful pauses into your day, noticing when your emotional temperature, your stress level is elevating, and bring in that purposeful pause to cool yourself down, to calm yourself down. The long-term strategy is meditation. Meditation is really how we build this muscle, this capacity to become the observer of our mind rather than the captive, rather than the one that's so entangled with all of the thoughts and emotions. It's powerful. Meditation isn't a quick fix. Our mind has a lot of practice doing just the opposite, being all kind of tangled up in every thought, emotion, sensation, etc., being highly reactive. So meditation takes practice. It's called practice for a reason. Our mind needs a lot of reps to actually quietly observe its own doings and misdoings, we might say. So both the short-term and the long-term strategies are critically important. And I encourage you to be utilizing both of them. The payoff can be tremendous. I've seen it in my own life. And as I said, I've seen it in really the over 500 physicians I've had the pleasure of coaching. It's powerful and it helps restore your autonomy and avoid burnout. So, we talked about a short term and a long term strategy. And really, the take home is the choice that you have to bring calm into your day, no matter what is going on around you. So, thank you for your attention today. The word of the week is calm. Calm. And I'm wishing you a week that brings many, many moments of calm.